So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest live stream watch market update. That's right. This is a live stream. This is not pre recorded. We make mistakes here. We say the wrong thing. We say the wrong words. We don't even know how to, sometimes say, things. But we ask for your help and you guys help us out, okay? So, just to let you know, this is the only truthful public service watch announcement channel who doesn't want to buy your watches, who doesn't want to sell you any watches. We just want to give you some facts, so you guys can defend yourself from all these flim flammers and hucksters and hoodwinks who have been fleecing you for too many years, just to let you know that, we want you to know about that because, you guys need somebody to defend you. So me and Sweet Kino's not here today because he is in a Super Bowl party. He was already in a Super Bowl party drinking Macallan and drinking Glenfiddich and Glenlivet and all that good stuff. This guy, he's unbelievable. Kino Talañao. Kino's not well. He's with that gold digger that's been blowing away all his money, from the chain, the Cuban link chain he had that he sold. The girl's been taking his money, slowly but surely, just to let you know. So we want you guys to know that this is the only public service watch announcement channel out there. And ladies and gentlemen, we also have a watch group, So watch group under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves, is in a Bookface. And you go to my page, Juan Felipe Nieves, and Bookface. You go to About, you'll find there Opus and Time watches. And you request, to join the group. Maybe you get in, maybe you don't get in, If you're a flim flammer, you probably won't get in because Samantha and Kino will not let you in. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the only watch market update show that brings you the truth. And we're number one, ladies and gentlemen, chosen by no other than, Fudinki and also by Sachs Goldman. You know who Sachs Goldman is? You guys got to know. These people are Sachs Goldman and, these people have sacrificed many people in the world. Remember the word sacrifice. Sacrifice. And ladies and gentlemen, somebody gave us a thank you chat, a thank you chat, a sweet chat, they gave us, And I believe that is Mr., Pete, the watch collector. Thank you, Mr. Pete, for that super beautiful chat. Here's a little, something for you, Thank you so much for helping the channel continue growing, because we always get the doors locked on us, because we drop too many truth bombs. And when you drop truth bombs, they put you on lockdown. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by telling you, because I'm a true believer on precious metals. I spoke to you the other day regarding, what happened with BlackRock, what they did, last week, selling over $370, billion in Bitcoin. And then the next day, playing ninja dressed in black. They moved around $2 trillion, It was a wealth, it was a wealth masterpiece movement, wealth for the wealthy, because the wealthy are sacrificing us. Remember the word sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen, all right? I can continue telling you things here right now, but I don't want to because I don't want to get a TV antenna, a TV antenna, thunder lightning and knock down a tower and he said, Julio, live stream. You know what I'm trying to say? Mr. Donut, Mr. Pete, all of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, this is the number one watch market update show. Don't look further. Don't look around. Don't look because what you got out there is a bunch of lambones and palomos, a bunch of lambones and palomos that they're not being truthful with you guys, but we are. We are because we don't want nothing from you. We only want a measly thumbs up and you guys have a hard time because your index finger has a problem, no sé lo que usted hace con el dedo, you know what I'm trying to say, babe. I'm telling you what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, remember the word of the day, sacrifice. It's going to come in, it's going to come in very important, very informative for you guys, But ladies and gentlemen, I told you also that, there, remember like around 10 years ago when they had that thing of the bucket, the water bucket, challenge, the water bucket challenge, and people went crazy, saying that they were doing the challenge bucket water because, I don't know, because you had an ingrown toenail. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what it was, but it worked like a charm because los americanos, the Americans, we have everything invented here. You know, we have Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Columbus Day, you know, all the President's Day. We have everything here. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs. You understand me? We have all that here. So we had that challenge, the bucket water challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, you know, so you guys get this penetrated in la chola, you know, la chola. Your head is not only for hair. Your head is for thinking. So me and Sweet Kikino have to think for you people. And ladies and gentlemen, they have a new challenge. And I'm going to tell you the new challenge. Most of you heard this already, but I got to repeat it so it can sink and penetrate, you know, your head. You know, there's a new thing. There's a new challenge. And it's called the No Spend Challenge in 2026. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. So they're saying now the No Spend Challenge of 2026. And if you do want to spend money, whatever you buy it at 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents to the dollar. Manada. You know what? I did enjoy it. Thank you very much. I enjoyed the concert. Thank you, Mr. Don. I hope you enjoyed a little bit, you know. It was nice too, you know. It was nice music. So I'm just letting you know the new challenges, the No Spend Challenge in 2026. No spend. No gasten dinero. No sean gilipollas, you know. No sean gilipollas. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about precious metal because I love precious metal. And I was able to, dump a little, you know what I'm trying to say. You know, I was able to dump a little scrap gold, you know, that we had there, you know. And we made a little pocket change, you know, para defenderlo too, because we need to defend ourselves too. You know, we don't get no support from nobody. We don't get no respect. We're like the Rodney Dangerfield of the watch industry, you know. Rodney Dangerfield, that's who we are. That's right. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that gold, I'm going to go right straight. I'm going to go to the jugular. Gold, ladies and gentlemen, real gold, 24 karat gold, 23, 22, you know, that kind of gold is at $4,980 a troy ounce. Don't ask me how I know. I know, okay? Because I'm stupid like that. I know. And ladies and gentlemen, silver, the troy ounce of silver is at $77 a troy ounce. There's no reason for you to get alarmed, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to the moon. This is going to the moon, all the way to the moon. You know, they're not like us. They're not like us. All the way up. All the way up. That's where it's going, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know. Platinum, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe this, but platinum is at $2,100 a troy ounce. $2,100 a troy ounce. Just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know, papi. Just to let you know. And ladies and gentlemen, palladium is at $1,741 and going all the way up. All the way up. They're not like us. They're not like us. All the way back. All the way back. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, for free. I'm telling you what it is. La situación está jodida. Esto es un casino. Esto es un casino. Está jodido. You know what casino is? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, rhodium. Rhodium is going all the way to Mars. All the way to Mars is at $10,750 a troy ounce. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Listen to me. After they dump all these precious metals, you don't know how many trillions of dollars were lost in 30 minutes. You don't know how many people were sacrificed. You don't know how many people were sacrificed. But I'm going to tell you how many people were sacrificed. Most of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, most of you out there believe that the Titanic, you know, that ship, the Titanic, that cruise line, you know, the cruise line sank. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, listen and learn, the Titanic wasn't an accident. No, sir. The Titanic wasn't an accident. Listen and learn, no sean pendejo. You're going to get smarter, you know, smarter you're going to get. The Titanic wasn't an accident. I'm going to tell you what it was. The Titanic was a sacrifice. It was a sacrifice. It was a sacrifice. The Titanic cruise line that sank, it wasn't an accident. It was a sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. It was a sacrifice. And you need to know the truth. Because you and me, we are being sacrificed right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are being sacrificed. But I'm here to help you, to open up your horizons, abrir la chola. Porque la chola no es solamente para pelo, because the head is not only for hair. The head is to think, and, pinpoint the punto, the rabbit holes and, all that kind of BS, And ladies and gentlemen, in that boat, in the Titanic, there were 3 men. And these 3 men in 1912, listen and learn. In 1912, these 3 men had the largest fortune in the world. You know what I mean? In the world. These 3 men had the largest fortune in the world. Unbelievable, but true. And they were the only obstacle from preventing the bankers from creating the United States Central Bank, the Fed, F-E-D, the Fed. And they needed to get out of the way. They needed to get out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know about this stuff. This is too much for you people. You guys should give me right now another thumbs up and put it at 16. That's right. You should. Because where I'm going with this is sacrifice. Sacrifice to this highest level. Like what they did over there in Nickelodeon Island. You know what that guy? Nickelodeon Island. That he sacrificed many people over there in Nickelodeon Island. You know where Nickelodeon Island is? I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. You know what? Everything that I'm telling you is allegedly. Allegedly, and let me salute the owl. Ready? Let me salute the owl. Runway 33. They pushed the button, and the plane was going like this. And when they pushed the button, the plane flipped. At runway 33. You don't know about that. You don't know about that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And those 3 men, going back to the sacrifice, needed to get out of the way. They needed to get out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. They needed to get out of the way. They needed to get out of the way. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something, because you guys don't know about this. You guys are too stupid to know about this. Do you know who the owner of the cruise line Titanic was? Do you know who the owner? Google it. Google it, morones. Do you know who the owner of the Titanic was? No saben. Esta gente no sabe. Si son unos lambones. For free. I give it to you for free. You're stupid like that. The owner, thank you, Thurston. Coño, Thurston. Tú eres uno de los míos, papá. Tú eres uno de los míos, papi. Tú eres uno de los míos. Thurston is one of mine. Thurston Howell III is one of mine. Porque es un hombre brillante. Es un hombre estudioso. He's a studious man of life. Vision, Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this watch market update, Unbelievable. So right now, Thurston Howell III finished telling you that the owner of the Titanic was no other than J.P. Morgan. Unbelievable. That J.P. Morgan was an SOB, man. Like the people over there, those people, los masones, the Masonics, you know what I'm saying? The Illuminati, you know what I'm saying? The owners of the world, back then. And J.P. Morgan, when I tell you this, you're not going to believe this. The owner of the Titanic. The owner of the Titanic. And ladies and gentlemen, Those three men, they had the largest fortune in the world, were on that cruise line, the Titanic. And the owner was J.P. Morgan. And minutes before the ship was going to sail, J.P. Morgan had hemorrhoids. He got hemorrhoids. You know what hemorrhoids is? If you don't know what hemorrhoids is, you Google it. And he canceled. He canceled and he stepped back and he didn't get on the boat. And he let those three men, they had the largest fortune in the world. Not in the United States, in the world. You know? They're painful. I know they are, right? They're painful. So he said, I got hemorrhoids. I can't get on the boat. I can't get on the ship. You know? So he canceled minutes before, boarding. And he sent, para que tú veas que macabélico, diablótico, demonic, demonios. These are demons. These are demonic. You don't know about this. We don't want to know about that because we don't want to eat poop. We don't want to drink piss. You know what I'm trying to say? We don't want to know adrenochrome. You know what adrenochrome is? You Google it because I'm not going to tell you. That's too much for you. So, minutes before boarding, he canceled because he was not feeling well from his hemorrhoids. J.P. Morgan. And he sent the three, largest fortune individuals to go for the cruise, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. He sent his rivals. J.P. Morgan sent his rivals to cruise, to go to their deaths. La muerte, to go to their deaths. Unbelievable, these people, and ensured that the opposition was eliminated. The opposition was eliminated, Papi. Then you call Rockefeller, you call the Rothschilds, because the Rothschilds bank both sides of whatever it is. Rothschilds bank whatever it is. Good, they're going to win. Bad, they're going to win. Bro, that's unbelievable. You know what that is? Good, you're going to win. You're going to win. And bad, you're going to win. That's the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds. Rockefeller, Rothschild, J.P. Morgan. Mission completed. Sacrifice. That's what a sacrifice is. But you don't know about that because you continue to hop around through life like bunny rabbits. With a carrot lollipop. Because we have to bring you this so you understand how we're being sacrificed on a daily basis. You understand what I'm saying? We're being sacrificed. Every day we're being sacrificed. But people think that this is happening today. Those are the masters. J.P. Morgan, the owner of the cruise line. He sacrificed his ship. He sunk it. Because that's what they say, that he hit one of those icebergs. He hit an iceberg. No. They had to go. Those three fellas, they had the largest fortune, had to go because they were preventing J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, all the bankers around the world from doing what they wanted to do. They wanted to do the United States, Federal Reserve. You know what I'm trying to say? They wanted that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Porque ustedes son un poco morones. Son morones. Esta gente son morones. Son morones. And he eliminated, They wanted the Holy Trinity. They wanted these people. They're like that. They're vampires. They're bloodsuckers. They drink instead of drinking water. Listen to me, Papi. Instead of drinking water, these people drank blood. Allegedly. At the Bohemian Grove, ladies and gentlemen. You understand me? That's what he did. And this guy was unbelievable. You know, it worked like a charm, you know, with the rivals. Listen again, the sacrifice. With the rivals at the bottom of the ocean, the plan was set. Unbelievable. I read too much. I'm a maniac. I read too much. I read too much. Yo leo mucho, Kino. Yo leo mucho. I told Kino that I read too much. He doesn't believe me. I told Kino, you need to start reading. Kino, reading is everything. Kino is there. Read between the lines. You know, with the rivals at the bottom of the ocean, the plan was in full effect. That's right. It's unbelievable, but true, ladies and gentlemen. You know, with the rivals at the bottom of the ocean, J.P. Morgan sacrificed the three largest men with the biggest fortune in the world, his cruise line, you know, that lady, Moby, whatever her name was, you know, the overweight lady. She sacrificed the lady with the blue diamond. I'm making it cute for you guys so you guys can relax, man. Ustedes son lambones. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, months later, and over there, Jacko Island, somewhere over there, you know, somewhere, I don't know where, over there, but over there, you know, the Federal Reserve was born. Unbelievable, these people unbelievable. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I would have fit in their plans. They would have a seat for me somewhere. They would have a seat. They say, we need a seat for the crazy Spanish Puerto Rican. He's good. He knows his stuff. They would have given me a seat. Because I'm telling you, where, you know, esto es macabélico. You know who macabélico is? You don't know who macabélico is? Google it. Macabélico. It was there. The plan was set. Months later in Jekyll Island, somewhere over there, the Federal Reserve was born. And then they started sacrificing us like you won't believe, ladies and gentlemen. They started sacrificing us left and right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it was unbelievable. You know, it was unbelievable. When I tell you this, you won't believe how the path was clear. So they can start printing money. They can start printing money and enslave you and me. We became sacrificed like cattle. You know, the birth of the nightmare. There it is, Mr. Damon. Coño, ese Damon lo que ha dicho, Dios mío. The birth of the nightmare. You see, I didn't say that because we got smart people in this channel. You see that? The birth of the nightmare began. I didn't say that. Mr. D said that. Porque es un hombre brillante, like Thurston Howell, like Mr. Donut, you know, like Wicked. You know what I'm trying to say? These are smart individuals. These people that are in this channel, they're smart. Look what Mr. D just said right now. And the nightmare began. That's right, the nightmare. You know, they started printing money and they started enslaving us. Enslaving us. Papi, esto es terrible. Terrible. We've been all sacrificed. We were sacrificed last week with Bitcoin. We were sacrificed 72 hours ago with BlackRock, moving in like Mr. Donut said, like ninjas dressed in black, while you guys were being distracted with the, you know, Jeffrey files. You were distracted with the Jeffrey files over there in Nickelodeon Island. They were moving. You know it. E.F. Hutton, he learned from him, you know, and that guy too, Schwab. You know, Schwab, that guy Schwab too. You know, they all learn. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. You know, they're all there. Blackstone, not BlackRock, Blackstone. They all learn. It's a big gang. It's a big gang. And I'm telling you, 72 hours ago, that guy Lawrence, Lawrence, Fink Larry, Lawrence. He moved quietly when you guys were busy watching the Jeffrey Files, dressed in black and ninjas. It started, Bobby. That's when it started. The creative experimentation started. The nightmare started. And they were printing. Printing now, Jacko Island, go, and printing and printing and printing and printing. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that. They were printing money and giving to that one, enslave him, and give it to Damon, enslave him, give it to Thurston, enslave him, give it to Mr. Donut, enslave him, give it to Pete, enslave him, give it to Experiment Creation, enslave him. Sacrifice. We were all sacrificed. But we're too stupid to understand that we were sacrificed. Like Mr. D said, that's when the nightmare began, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a total sacrifice what they've done to us. And it's not fair. And somebody has to tell you, tell you the truth. Like those people on 47th Street in the Diamond District over there. They're sacrificing a bunch of us, selling us fake Rolex watches with fake movements, fake bracelets, fake dials, lab diamonds. They're sacrificing. Many of us fall for the sacrifice. Some of you learn, make a couple of phone calls and check the goods, and you find that the goods were no good. That guy over there, the ghost subway train jumper, the subway ghost train jumper has the blueprints for all those people on the Diamond District in 47th Street. They got their vacuum cleaner, the 10 Commandments. They have the genie. You know what I'm saying? They have everybody, Sinbad. They have the horse teeth. The horse teeth. He had rotten teeth, and now he had horse teeth now. He was able to flim-flam you guys out of $20,000, and he says, una caja de dientes. He did a box. He did a box of teeth. These people are cretins. These people are an infection in the corner of your toenail. Ingrown toenail with green, yellow pus. That's what those people are, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know about this. So I just wanted to show you what sacrifice is. And now you know the real story behind, the Titanic. It wasn't an accident. It was a sacrifice. That's all. If I'm getting a thunder lightning, you let me know. I feel like the TV antenna is scrambling, I'm letting you guys know what's going on. I hope you understand, everything was planned, Papi. Everything is planned. And everybody that's doing plans today, they got it from those people. I told you that the ones that have the original blueprints in the watch business, in the jewelry business, in the diamond business is 47th Street in the Diamond District. And they're the ones that pass those blueprints to everybody in Pennsylvania, in Dallas, Texas, in California, in Florida. They're the ones. And the ones that pass the plans to all the people here today of the new world, the owners of the world, were those people back then. J.P. Morgan, they say he was like an architect, I'm just telling you what it is because I'm stupid like that. I'm going to give you guys a watch market update because, tonight, me and my honey, my wife loves me and I love my wife. We're going to go out and, have a couple of, mojitos. You know what mojitos are? Mojitos. We're going to have a couple of mojitos, So, I'm going to give you a watch market update because you guys need that because that's why E.F. Hutton always listens, So there it is. Now you know what sacrifice is. And Monday, you can tell your friend Joey, what happened at the Titanic? Was that an accident for real? Of course it was. It was an accident. The boat sank and that was it. Gracias, Mr. Premium. Thank you very much. So, guys, I'm going to give you guys a watch market update. Salute to both of you, to all of you out there. All of you out there. I'm lying to you. Before I give you a watch market update, I must apply and show you something. So, Mr. Damon, if you're there, Mr. Donut, Pete, Experiment, Premium, if you're there, I've been telling all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that these people, these hoodwinkers, these flim-flammers, these hucksters who've had a way with you guys for too many years won't tell you this. But I've been telling you because I know this for real, for a fact, because friends of mine reach out to me and tell me, Juan, thank you always for giving us the lead. Thank you, Damon, for being here. I want you to see this. Thank you, Nieves, for giving us the lead. My last name is Nieves, just in case you want to Google me, Juan Felipe Nieves. Pretty soon, I'm going to give you my social security, too. Just hold on, okay? So I've been telling you that over there in the other side of the pond, in the United Kingdom, Papi, you can get most any watches you want. From Rolex, from Vacheron, from AP, from Patek. Listen to me. Listen to me. Even those watches that, most of you like to criticize them, the Richard Mille. Exactly. The United Kingdom. When I show you something today, you guys are the lucky ones. You 13, recovering tomato cans are going to go, wow, man. I'm telling you, you're going to go wow. And my friends have got, Rolex Submariner, no dates. Rolex Submariner dates, GMTs, all the date just you want. Over there in that airport over there, I think it's called Hickory over there, over there, Hickory. And ladies and gentlemen, when I show you this, you're gonna go, man, it's sad. It's sad. Heathrow, thank you, Mr. Donor. It's sad. I want you to see something here. I want you to see this.
$1,000. Been in London for 5 hours and I just got my chain snatched and I got the fucking face. London, is this normal? Is this the London experience I've been told about? I literally got off the metro, had Nando's, and now we're in Soho and I just fucking got my shit snatched. Anyone sees a guy in a fake Gucci hat asking for directions to Oxford, do not give him directions to Oxford. But did we back down? No, we did not back $4,000. Been in London for 5 hours and I just got my chain snatched and I got decked in the fucking face. London, $4,000. Been in London for 5 hours and I just got my chain snatched and I got decked in the fucking face. London, is this normal?
London, is this normal, London?
I've been told about? I literally got off the metro, had Nando's, and now we're in Soho, and I just fucking got my shit snatched.
Soho, over there, Soho, London. Unbelievable.
A guy in a fake Gucci hat.
Fake Gucci hat.
To Oxford. Do not give him directions to Oxford. But did we back down?
No, they didn't back down. They want to fight him. That's in London, ladies and gentlemen. This gentleman was in London. I'm gonna show you else because we're stupid like that. We're stupid like that. I look at this and I can't believe what I'm seeing. London. Okay, let's say UK, the United Kingdom. Forget about London, the UK. Animals, machete, al machete, full, fast, flee. That's in the United Kingdom. We're not going to use no more the word London. The United Kingdom. Mr. Donut, is the United Kingdom part of London? Damon, is the United Kingdom part of London? I don't know too much about this. You help me out. You know what I'm trying to say, right? But ladies and gentlemen, wait till I show you this, what I'm going to show you now, so you understand how the people are around the world and over there in the UK, what they're doing, what they would do to you. There's a lady, let me give you the play-by-play. London is part of the UK. Thank you very much, Damon. There's a lady that the lady is getting robbed. Listen to me. This is important. The lady is getting robbed by these infection, these cockroaches, estas ratas, rata de cuatro patas. You know? Estos son ratas gonorreas. Ratas. And the ladies are throwing punches. Listen to me, throwing punches at the robbers. You know? Throwing punches. I never seen something like that in my life, Damon. I've never seen this. This is unbelievable. This is why nobody wants to. No more pigs this Christmas. Nobody wants to wear no jewelry. Nobody wants to wear no watches, no rings, you know? None of that stuff. You know, if you're married, and you just say it, but you cannot even wear a ring because they'll chop it off. And this is the video that I'm going to show you now so you understand where this is going to. I'm going to put it on for you like 3 times so you understand this, because this is, esto una loquera, you know. I mean, when Sweet Kino prepared this for me, he told me, when you see this, you're not going to believe this. And I said, oh my God, Kino. Watch. Watch this. You haven't seen nothing yet. Look at that bag. Look at that blue bag. Keep your eyes open, guys. Keep your eyes open. Look at that lady standing with her legs crossed. Look at the guy. Look at this. It's unbelievable. Let me show you something. Hold on, guys. Hold on, let me show you more. Come on, guys. This is not normal. Guys, look at the punches. Look at the lady throwing punches. Oh, punches. Look at that. Look at that. These are animals. Cockroaches. Fleas. Look at that. Hammers. Look at this. That cannot be normal. This is London, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, the UK. Throwing punches. Look at that. Muhammad Ali Frazier. Ali, knock him down. He went down. That's a bulletproof window. So ratas. What do you guys think about that? I want to see your comments before I give you the watch market update. Over there, over there. No more watches. Animals. The lady was throwing punches and he was throwing punches at her too. You imagine a delinquent throwing punches? Unbelievable, those people. Unbelievable. That's how the world is, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're going to go over there, listen, The policemen over there, for some reason, they have like, tienen catarro. They have like a cold, catarro, like a cold, bronchitis. They don't even get near. You know what it is in the middle of a Rolex store stealing everything with machetes and there's nobody around? The police is scared. It has to be that. This is what Mr. Donor wrote down. I'm asking for your help. What is Damon, please? What's going on over there? The policemen don't get paid enough to put their their life on the line? What's going on? You help me out. Okay, you guys don't have nothing to say, so we're going to give you a watch market update. I wanted to show you that so you know what's going on. Breaking, bulletproof windows. I don't know, it's crazy. Una locura. I'm going to go into my first watch market update for you guys on this matinee. A matinee for you guys. The day before the big game. Somebody asked me, who do I think, any predictions, and who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put a couple of nickels and a couple of dimes, and, over, under, the spread, I believe is 4.5, I don't know too much about that. I only read, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with el macho. I'm going to go with the male, with the male. And I'm going to give 4.5 points. I'm going to go with 4.5 points, and I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't know. I'm a little bit confused still about the over-under, because they're talking about, I think it's 5.5 touchdowns, maybe 6, So if you go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, I find it to be, and maybe tomorrow's going to be a throwing game, not a running game, and, just throwing the ball over the place over there, to get everybody taken over there and rock hard, So I like Seattle. I only like Seattle. I'm not going to get into the over-under, And, that guy, Floyd Money, he's going bankrupt. Just to let you know, to continue with him. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex, rose gold. Rolex rose gold. The Thriller Manila, papi. So correcto, Thurston. The Rolex rose gold root beer, 40 millimeter. With a black and brown, bezel and a black dial. So beautiful watch. This is fully rose gold, ladies and gentlemen. So beautiful watch. You know what it is. I don't have to give you. I'll give you the reference because you guys need it probably. It's the 126715CHNR. And I'm going to tell all of you out there, if you're looking at this watch, you have the root beer that has that, the lion dial, and they're asking 80, 79, 78, for that watch. It's the same thing, just with different dials. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay more for that beautiful root beer, rose gold, with a black and brown ceramic bezel, black dial, 40 millimeter. Don't pay more. And I mean, don't exactly, Mr. Donald, don't pay more than $38,000. He said 36, but it's $38,000. Gold is too powerful still, and that thing is a tank of war, and that's what it is. That is the truth. You do whatever you want with your money. If you can pay 36, like Mr. Donut says, by all means, knock yourself out and pay 36, okay? Just to let you know. Just to let you know what's going on. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an unbelievable watch. It's a Rolex stainless steel, Bruce Wayne, with the oyster bracelet, with the black dial and the black and gray ceramic bezel, that beautiful watch, the GMT, Bruce Wayne. And I'm going to tell all of you, it's a 40 millimeter. Yes, it's lost. Yes, it is, Papa. What do you guys think about the videos? Did that surprise you? That, I mean, we live in the United States. So there's some crazy things going on, but this is like over there, like Kansas, like in the El Oeste, the El Oeste, coming out, shooting, blazing, in Tennessee, Texas, Kansas, when people were in the saloon bar and they were like, shooting each other. It's the same thing over there. It's crazy, unbelievable. Machetes, machetes. Machete. It's not the Batman. It's not the Batman, Mr. Donut. It's the Bruce Wayne. The Bruce Wayne. The one that's stainless steel with the black. It's like a grayish black ceramic bezel. You know, it comes in a Jubilee bracelet and the Oyster. This is the Oyster. Okay, it's a very, very well-known watch, and people like it. You know, for the way the watch is clean and all that good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that beautiful Bruce Wayne. The reference number, if you need it again, too, is the 126710GRNR. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, coño, this guy is a premium. He's on fire. You know, he said the magic number, and I have to respect that. And what did he say there? He said $18,000. And ladies and gentlemen, when you give a ding, 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 you give it. And we have to give a ding, 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 ding to Mr. Premium, you know, of the option. He said $18,000. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for the Oyster bracelet, not the Jubilee, Oyster. The Jubilee is the one that they really want. They want the Jubilee. You know, for some reason, they want the Jubilee. Don't pay more than $18,000. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Stop being lollipop suckers. Stop being window lickers. All right? The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. It's all an illusion. Like Mr. Damon said. Mr. Damon said these words when they conquered the Fed, you know, the Federal Reserve. That's when all the nightmare began. You know, over there in Jekyll Island, you know, that's when the nightmare began. And that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a nightmare, you know, what these people are doing to you with the watch industry. The watch market is dead. No matter what numbers you see in E.F. Hutton, you know, what numbers you see in this watch article, watch market is dead. It's dead. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a beautiful, beautiful watch. I find this watch very, very beautiful, very elegant, very classy, you know. Wow. Damon, tú eres uno de los míos. Tú eres uno de los míos, Damon. You're one of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller, 40 millimeter. Rose Gold Land Dweller. You know, unbelievable, with a chicken coop dial. They call it the honeycomb. The honeycomb, you know, like honeycomb, those flakes, corn flakes, honeycomb Cheerios. You know what I'm trying to say? Unbelievable, those people with the honeycomb. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful watch, you know, a chicken coop dial. And the retail price of that watch is $51,500. $51,500 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. La situación está jodida, muchacho. La situación está jodida. You know? And remember, these prices continue to keep on going up. And I'm going to tell you something about precious metal materials with the Rolex. Honestly, maybe you guys can help me out, Mr. Premium, Mr. Donut, Mr. Damon, Thurston Howell, you know? You understand me? You guys can, you know, help me out with this issue. But I don't think when these prices of gold go up, I don't think they're going to come down. That's just what I believe. You think whatever you want. I'm just telling you. And ladies and gentlemen, again, for the chicken coop dial, saludos for the chicken coop dial. Don't pay for that watch, for that beautiful Land Dweller, 40 millimeter. Don't pay more than $57,500. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, papi. La situación está jodida, papa. La situación está jodida. No matter what they tell you. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you about another watch. It's a Land Dweller again. But this one is the Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller 36 millimeter with a diamond bezel. You know, it has those letters at the end, at the reference number, T as in Tom, B as in boy, and R as in run. The TBR. You know, when you see TBR, you run to the hills. When you see TBR, you run to the hills because that's an off-catalog piece. You know, an off-catalog piece. TBR, pa' fuera. Corre, papi, que se jodió esto. You know? And it's a 36 millimeter with a factory diamond bezel. You know? Also with a chicken coop dial. And I'm going to tell you this because, you know, some of you don't even know the retail price of this watch. So you understand the magnitude de la loquera. Exactly, is this. Exactly. That's what it is. It's what it is. When you hear this, you're going to, wow, man. You're going to hear the retail price. You probably don't know the retail price. You probably don't know the retail price of this watch. But I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that with a diamond bezel factory. The retail price of that 127285 TBR, ladies and gentlemen, is $98,750 plus your taxes. Plus your taxes. 36 small, you know? Yes, I have. I haven't been able to study that, Mr. Donald, but I will. I will have Kino when Kino finishes his drinking venture. He'll get it for me. He'll get it for me. But I haven't, Pop. I haven't, but I will. And ladies and gentlemen, and dropping. You said $92,000 in dropping. Okay, $92,000. They're asking for this watch out there. They're asking for this watch 130, 125, 100 and 119, 120, 130. That number they're asking for that watch. But ladies and gentlemen, this is more for it's a nice watch. It's a beautiful watch. It's a beautiful. Sort of. They're getting sort of. Believe me, they're getting sort of. You're asking me if Patek is getting a little bit. Yes. Listen to me. The only hot cakes they have in that catalog are two watches. Two watch models. Look, let me just give you the price and I'll go back to the Patek. Don't pay for that 36 millimeter chicken coupe diamond factory bezel. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch more than $108,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money and you do whatever you want. You already got that, right? You already got those two land dwellers. I'm going to go back to Patek. I don't care whether you want to believe me or not. I don't care if you're an owner of a Complications. I don't care if you're an owner of a Grand Complications. The workhorses of Patek Philippe are two models. With different references, but the same model. You got the Nautilus. I don't know how many different reference number, but it's the Nautilus. 5711, 5980, and so on and so on. 5712, right? And you got the same thing with the Aquanaut. Those are the two workhorses that Patek has. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants a Nautilus or a Patek Philippe, whether it's a 5740 Nautilus, whether it's a 5711, whether it's a 5712, whatever it is. The same thing with the Aquanaut, 5164, 5968. That's it. Those are the two workhorses. The rest are dead in water. You say, but you're crazy, Juan. Okay, I'm crazy. If you have a watch that has a retail price of 300, this is Grand Complications, Bobby. Not a Nautilus, not an Aquanaut. Grand Complications, not Complications. No. Grand Complications. And the watch costs $300,000 and you're asking for the watch with everything, with the wood box, shellac, push pin, push this, push needle, all the wallet, this wallet, that wallet, everything. And the watch costs $300,000 in retail plus your taxes, and they're selling that watch out there for $70,000. Are those watches holding up, or they're dead in water? They're dead in water. I don't care what nobody tells you. I really don't. This is just what I read, and I do a lot of reading. Listen to me, guys. I'm going to come off out of character. I do a lot of reading, and this is how I come up with my, conclusions of the watch industry. Come on, man. You're telling me that the biggest powerful watch models you have is the Grand Complications, and they can't even hold on. And let me tell you something. When they make a Grand Complication, to the ones that know out there that hear me talk, please correct me. I don't get mad when you correct me. I get happy. So supposedly those Grand Complications are the ones maybe they're limited editions, but most of the time they're limited production, which is crazier. Limited production. Let's forget about limited edition, limited production. You understand me? So what I'm trying to tell you, I'm going to give you an example, ladies and gentlemen, because last week I gave you guys a survey. I gave you how many watches they made of this model. We're talking about the Patek Philippe 3940, white gold, rose gold, yellow gold, platinum. And I tell you, there's a shitload of them out there. A 36 millimeter. Listen to me. It's an unbelievable watch. It's an unbelievable watch. You know that Flim Flammer, the guy that you guys like to watch. You know, the guy, the Flim Flammer, he's very petite. You know, he's a very small man with little silky hands. You know, he's unbelievable. You know, he's unbelievable. He's parading his watch all over the place, and he's telling you people that the watch right now, that watch costs $100,000, and in 5 years it'll be $250,000. In 20 years from now, it'll be $1 million. Listen, there's like 11,500 watches out there. Gold, yellow gold, white gold, platinum, rose gold, all that. And I'm going to tell you for that watch, for the white gold, ladies and gentlemen, this is another one, a watch market update for you guys. On the 3940 leather strap, white gold. White gold. Don't pay for, I mean, you do whatever you want. It's your money. You know, let me tell you something. You know what this, Eugene, a.k.a. Jacob McChicken, the SEC shut you down? You know what he says? He says that 3940 is the equivalent. The equivalent, listen to this, Mr. Donut, the equivalent to the 5940 Nautilus. To me, that is the most beautiful watch model of the Nautilus that they have, with all that movement that it has, the 5740. The 5740, he said that the 3940 that he has is the same thing. You got to be asleep to believe this guy, man. You got to be asleep. You know? So I'm telling you, don't pay for that 3940. Here it goes. Here it goes. Don't get scared. It's dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. You do whatever you want. It's 11,500 out there. 11. I have a friend of mine that he has in his safe deposit box. I think he has like around from all the colors, all the metals. He must have like 5 of them. And this is what he does to me, with the middle finger. He does this to me in the middle finger like that to me. And I go, okay, Papi. Don't pay for that watch, for the white gold, 3940, with a leather strap, 36 millimeter. Don't pay for it more. Don't pay more. Listen to me, Eugene. Here it goes for you, Papi. Don't pay more than $52,000 and dead. Okay? You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. That's a different story. That guy, the guy from Louis Vuitton, he has the 5740 with the Tiffany blue dial. It's unbelievable, that watch. How much that one costs? Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a Jaeger Lacouture, the Master Control Twinkling. You heard that one? You heard of that one before? The JLC Master Control Twinkling. Unbelievable watch. White gold with a diamond bezel. So you understand, this is a monster watch. I don't want to tell you the retail, but this is Bobby. It's a dead. This watch is dead, like Mr. Don is saying. But Bobby, this watch, movement wise, craftsmanship wise, twinkling. You know what twinkling is? Like twinkle toes, with a diamond bezel, with a 39.5 millimeter casing, nice size, 40, nice. Reloj de puta, with diamonds, And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you not to pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Don't get scared. Don't pay for that watch more. Papi, this is an unbelievable looking time machine. Don't pay for it more. You do whatever you want, but don't pay more than $10,900 and You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak stainless steel double balance wheel, open work, skeletonized, the whole shalam, the 154, the 15407, with a 41 millimeter casing, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, we say the truth here. No matter if you don't want to hear it, but we have to tell you the truth. This is why we've been chosen the #1 watch market update show by no other than, Fudinki, and also, the people that sacrifice people are there. Sachs Goldman, they sacrifice people too. Those people like to sacrifice people. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that stainless steel open work double balance wheel 15407 41 millimeter. Don't pay more. You do whatever you want. Papi, this is the #1 watch market update. Don't pay more than $133,500. You do whatever you want. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch now that I remember because I went into the Vacheron Constantin boutique and I asked about this watch. And the people, that I walked in with a pair of, flip-flops and a pair of ripped, short jeans, Levi cutouts, short cutout jeans. And I had a t-shirt on, and I walked in and I had one of those flim-flam watches that I had on, I had one of my watches on. I walked in and I started asking them about a Vacheron Constantin overseas. And they were very, when they saw me asking for the watch, they got intrigued because not everybody knows about this watch. When you ask for it, because this is a catalog, this is a boutique edition, this is people that take you to the back door and they massage, they check out your sinus congestion. They wax it, they wax it up for you back there, I didn't go back there, but the guy, he saw me and, he didn't want to take me back there. He thought about it, but he didn't take me back there. We're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the Vacheron Constantin overseas, the 6000V, rose gold, skeletonized, open work, tourbillon, papi, tourbillon, monster of a watch, retail price. Look for it. You're not going to find it because you got to go ask for it. Retail price of that watch 3 years ago before it kept on going all the way up. It was like $240,000. Man, it's not 2 years ago. It's like 3 years ago. I remember. It was in the design district. The design district over there, downtown. I don't know if you know this, but the design district, nobody wanted to be around there. No more pigs this Christmas over there. It was not a good place, a good neighborhood. It was not good. But today, as you know, you even have a Vacheron Constantin overseas boutique in there. So they were asking 240, and today that watch is like, I don't know, man, close to $300,000, the retail, and you have to be 5 stars, 5 stars, like Nicolás Maduro, to give you that watch. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, has dropped so much que da vergüenza. It's sad because this is a monster. This is a rose gold, skeletonized tourbillon, papi, pa lo grande. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. Pa lo grande. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Mobile over. We have Mobile over in this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hi to Mobile over 007. He gave us a thumbs up. He's unbelievable, that guy. And let me tell you, you had to be something big to get that watch. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you today, for the skeletonized tourbillon boutique edition, a whale, a Moby Dick whale, Moby Dick whale. Unbelievable watch. Attaboy, Mr. D. Attaboy, Mr. Donor. Say hello to Moby, Moby Bill over. I don't know what it is. It's a beautiful name he has, I like that name. you know. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, la situación está jodida. Times are bad out there. There's no money. There's no money. Don't pay for that watch. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Papa. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you, John. Hey, don't pay for that watch. Here it goes. Thanks to you, Bo. Thanks to you. Don't pay for that watch more than 100. Here it goes. Don't pay more than $177,000 in dropping. And dropping, Papa. You're talking about a $300,000 watch. And it's going down, 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 down. I told a person that spoke to me about the watch, I said, look, I'm gonna be very kind to you because you have the watch. But that watch is dead. Watch is dead. So what you see, you might be thinking, so, well, when you buy it at retail at close to $300,000 and you put taxes on that watch and all that good stuff, and now they're telling you that the watch costs 170 and change $1,000. How much money did you lose? How much money did you lose? You probably lost more than Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm just trying to tell you that, you know? I'm just saying, you know? I'm just trying to tell you. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. You do whatever you want. You know? You do whatever you want. Got some. Okay. Okay, well, maybe you can give us an insight. Mo Bill over. Give us an insight. We want to hear you express, you know, because you have some of that. What do you think? What's going to happen to those Bitcoins that you have, Mo? My audience wants to hear you. They want to know what you have to say. Anything, say anything. Buy it on the dip, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. You heard what Mo said. Buy it on the dip. Remember what I told you about the guy that he sold when he saw something fishy? He bought it for $125,000 and he got nervous and he sold it at $124,999. Right? An example. And then when it went down to $80,000, he said, I'm gonna buy 2 coins. So I think that's what Mo is telling us. He bought it at the dip. You know, so he bought 2 coins and he spent $160,000. He had 125. He put another 35 out of his pocket. And 2 days ago, I heard it went down to $63,000. So buy at the dip. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. I don't know. Somebody say something. Come on, say something. Say whatever you want. Wow. Woof, Quanton is going to kill. Are you hearing this, gentlemen? This is what Mo Bill over is saying. But buy gold too. Good job, Papi. Good job. Good job. We're going to go to our next watch, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. Watch this. Patek Philippe Grand Complications. Here it goes. Patek Philippe Grand Complications. Platinum 39.5 millimeter casing. Perpetual calendar. Reference number the 5496. With a leather strap. This is a platinum, ladies and gentlemen. Platinum. You ready for this? Retail price is $120,000 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. You know, with the push button, you know, pin and the shellac wood box, all that good stuff. $120,000. You gotta cough up and you gotta pay taxes to Uncle Sam's. You know, to the Federal Reserve. You know, Jekyll Island, J.P. Morgan, the sinker of the boat. You know, the Titanic. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me out. Ready for this? Don't pay for that beautiful watch. Patek Philippe Grand Complications, Platinum 39.5 millimeter casing, Perpetual calendar 5496 on a leather strap. Retail price $120, $100. Don't pay more than $47,500. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Watch market is dead. The watch market is dead on a backyard pool and floating face down like this. Dead. Dead. Like in the Titanic, people floating. Jack, 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 Jack. You know Jack? You remember Jack? You know, he was floating, you know? He was freezing his la bola. He was freezing them, you know? Jack. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for Valentine's ladies. The Patek Philippe ladies, pink dial, pink strap, the 7010 rose gold. You know, for your lover, for your wife, for your side chick, whatever it is. For Valentine's Day, the 7010 rose gold. No more pigs this Christmas. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, you do whatever you want. If they tell you $80,000, if they tell you $78,000, if they tell you 75, don't pay more. And you tell them that Sweet Kick Kino told you. You tell them that Sweet Kick Kino told you. Hey, Mr. Donut, this is the 7010, not the 7018, you know, the 7010. Don't pay for that watch more than $72,000. That's for your lover, you know, for your girlfriend. You do whatever you want. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a Bulgari, the Serpent, you know, the Serpent, rose gold, 33 millimeter, reference number 103145, white dial, beautiful, rose gold, 33 millimeter, beautiful, bro. Un serpiente. Don't pay for that watch. Full set for your lover, for your girlfriend. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than $16,500. You don't want to hear the retail. You don't know about that kind of stuff. You don't want to know about that kind of stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Richard Mille. A Richard Mille. Unbelievable Richard Mille. The RM30. You know, beautiful rose gold TI. Ladies and gentlemen, they're asking for that watch out there, 167, you know, 161. You know, these numbers, you know, and these are, you know, Richard Mille. Richard Mille, RM30, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the TI, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay more. You tell them that I said so. Don't pay more than $147,000 and dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you something because you need to know about this. The watch market is dead. I'm going to give you my last watch market update. It's another ladies' watch for Valentine's Day, you know, for your lover. This is the Cartier, you know, Ballon Bleu, 36 millimeter, white gold, factory diamond bezel. Beautiful watch with a pink strap as well, you know, beautiful white dial, beautiful watch. This is a beautiful watch to give to your beloved wife, daughter, girlfriend, side chick, whatever it is, you know, city to city chick you have, whatever you want to call it, you know. This is a beautiful watch, and I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that beautiful Cartier Ballon Bleu, pink strap, white gold, factory diamond bezel. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $9,600. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my watch market update for this evening. This is my watch market update show. I hope you learned something about the Titanic, you know, that people believe it was a crash and it was more. It was a sacrifice, what it was. All right, guys? I hope you learned that. Don't forget the new slogan. And this year, like the water bucket, you know, like the water bucket challenge. No, thank you, Mo. Thank you very much. Like the water challenge bucket. Today is, you know, everybody's doing the no spend challenge in 2026. On behalf of me and Sweet Kikino, we want to thank all of you for being here in this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, right? I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Listen to me. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods, right? Be smart. Again, I want to say to all of you, take care and brush your hair. Un abrazo a todo. Un abrazo a todo. Lo quiero mucho. Thank you, Thurston. I will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, guys. Be well. Thank you. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you very much, Papa. Thank you.